Hello. Welcome me back. No, welcome back with me. I'm actually very excited. I have a series that I think I'm going to start to expand into, and this is the perfect launch point. So, on my last video, Pappy G, I love that nickname, and I'm very disappointed in myself for not going and joining y'all on the summer vacation this year. So, okay. Pappy G says in his comment on my last video about smell, Matthew 26:12. When she poured this perfume on my body, she did it to prepare me for burial. And so he asked, was this to cover Jesus' smell before what he was about to endure? Was this done to cover his smell from the others that were there with him? Is there a connection between this and what you discussed in this video? Y'all, I read this comment and my amp went up to 11.5. I've been so excited trying to organize my brain and trying to let God lead me into sharing this. And it's just, oh, it's so much fun. Okay, so my answer to these questions is both yes and no. Now, all right, so I'm gonna cross things out as I go so I don't lose track of myself in my notes. um, so, yeah, okay. To make this make sense, at least for me, I needed to understand fragrance and perfumes. So I'm going to do this in two parts. This is going to be part one, where I just talk about what are perfumes and fragrances and incense and like historical context for purpose and use and function. Compare that to modern times, compare that to Roman times where Jesus is with this woman and this experience. So let's just pull back some layers. And then in part two, I will go into actually answering more directly the the chemistry or the purpose, the heart in both this woman and in Jesus and those around them for how this fragrance comes into play. Okay, are you ready? I'm ready. I'm so ready. So, last video was your body chemistry, your internally facilitated fragrance, right? Well, we're going to talk about external fragrances. So, let's just take a step back from modern day, right? Okay, so let's remove synthetic fragrance. Just it doesn't exist. So, if you're standing in the store right now, basically everything disappeared off the shelves and there's nothing left except for like the essential oils on the really expensive aisle and all of the other really hoity-toity granola. My people, I can't help it. I love it. Anyway, uh, I'm not hoity-toity, am I? I don't think so. Totally not. But you'd be left with expensive stuff. You'd be left with a much smaller selection in your grocery store for your shampoos and body washes, right? Now, you'd still have the shampoos and body washes and soaps. You like if we go back in a historical way, those things have been very prolific, very common. Fragrancing the fabric of your clothing, fragrancing your hair, your home, burning incense in your home. Like Febreze and Lysol, that's been around for a long time. It was called incense. It was more pure perfume grade, expensive or more expensive things. Anyway, so also keep in mind that when we're talking about these natural fragrances, these perfumes, whether it's oil or like depending on how it's a distillation, extraction, however it's distilled from the whatever plant it is from a plant. It's from a resin, it's from a bark, it's from a leaf or stem. It's very it just is. It's from the earth. And keep in mind that our access to smells did not really reduce when we got rid of synthetics because trade with the Middle East and Africa and Asia and Indonesia has been long standing. Like you go back and you read the things that Moses talks about with the tabernacle. You can look back at Egyptian history and the pharaohs who had their signature blends. They were bringing in fragrances and products and foodstuffs and whatever from all over the place and have been for a very long time. Multiple types of cinnamon, multiple types of things, sugar cane, all like so nothing's really minimized by taking out synthetics, okay? Now, it also doesn't make it any cheaper for them than it does for us. So there are some fragrances that I came across where just to get like a bottle of perfume of that stuff would be more than a year's annual salary. Like it like expensive, expensive. Okay. And I was like there yeah. So like I want if anything about like medieval Europe pops into your head, just erase it because we're gonna pretend that that whole shenanigan hot mess just didn't happen where we were gross, y'all. I don't know, like what? Stop that. Mm-mm. So don't go there with that. Now let's talk about fragrance as far as purpose and function because that's where a lot of this comes into play and what you use where and how you use it matters. And so a lot of these things that they're using, these instances that they make for their homes, the types of fragrances they put into their clothing, so many of these have medicinal properties. They're antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal. Like they have a lot of these attributes that just promote health and cleanliness. And so they're it's basically their health products. Like this is their and not it's pre germ culture, but they understood if you were clean, you didn't get sick. It wasn't that hard to figure out. So yay. But in addition to just the health of it, there's also the mental effect of it. Like I've got me I've got me my Absolute Rose Absolute, whichever, same difference. It has been long studied that the rose smell, the real, not synthetic, the fragrance from a rose is a very big support for people with depression. That's, they're like, yeah, that's a true thing. And like, I've got me some vetiver. I love me my vetiver. I make a little roller with it with almond oil, and it just helps me kind of untangle my nerves. I probably should have used this. You know what? We're gonna just live have me smell some of this to chill out. It's such a weird smell. It's not a pretty smell, but I like it because I feel better when I smell it. So a lot of these fragrances, if you think about religious practices, you've got the incense burners and things that you can picture like in old school, even Catholic churches, like they're using very specific things. I've got me some frankincense and myrrh. Yeah, that like the stuff from the Bible. So this stuff is shown to have synergetic effects when they're used together. They create an even more potent capacity for meditation and focus. So there's a lot of different ingredients that people are going to be using in these fragrances for respiratory health. I mean, there's so many things. It's super fun. We'll dig into that some more, I think, later for reasons. Hang tight. But like, so they serve purposes. They don't just smell good. They're not just so that you don't smell like sweat. They're not just aesthetic. They serve functions. And so some of these things, obviously, where it's from is gonna make it more expensive. What it's for, all of these things come into play. You'll have local plants that they would have been using as well that were just as beneficial. So there's a combination of things. And so, yeah, I think we're ready for part two. All right, I'm gonna pause. Well, not pause. I'm gonna stop this, and then I'm gonna restart with part two. Um, I'll probably have some gaps and all of that, but that's a foundation, right? We're good. All right, hang tight.